This is A View from the Bridge, official podcast of your Premier Sports Elite League Challenge Cup Champion Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. Today is Tuesday, the 22nd of March, 2022, and I am definitely not Patrick Smith. My name is Joel Neal. We are without our fearless leader once again, but I am joined by my two good friends after quite an eventful week for your Belfast Giants. So without further ado, Davy and Simon, how are you, my friend? Did you have a nice time at home at the weekend, during the week?
It was absolutely fabulous to be at home. I was, as always, that happens for whatever reason. I don't know, that don't deserve it. I get spoiled rotten when I'm back home from mom and dad, but Simon Taft took me for lunch, you know, hanging about the rink all day after work and just getting spoiled rotten. So I appreciate that. It's never, ever, ever taken for granted, the access that we get. And it's really enjoyable that we get little rewards for and we do put in hard work as well. So it's a little reward for that. And it is, but I'm really grateful for it. Yeah.
And I think your airport chauffeur on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever that is, Simon Kitchen. How are you tonight, sis?
Yeah, I'm all right. Not too bad. Busy week, so
yeah.
It's yeah.
Honestly, to go back on that, I know you're taking the mick, and I'll say, Mayor, this big guy can't do enough for me when I'm home. He picks me up at the airport. He takes me back if I need. He runs me in between. We'll go for lunch. Even paid for it. What's up?
Wipe your arse.
No. I don't see why a big deal like me should be wiping my own. So, you know,
he's always said that, to be fair. No, it's very, very sweet. It's testament, I guess, to the length of your friendship and how much you've all been together. I always kind of see it whenever you're back, Davy. It's very, very lovely. But listen, boys, it's been quite a week. So without further ado, as you see, obviously, P. Smith, our fearless leader, has better things to be doing tonight. He's off with work commitments. So I'm going to try and run things here. Davy's going to try and do the techie side, and Sis is going to try and give you the hockey knowledge. So Davy, without further ado, mate, game one of the week was a big one. On Wednesday night, your Belfast Giants finally, after a long Challenge Cup, which began all the way back in goodness, whenever that was, September, October, finally got to the final in the SSE Arena against the Cardiff Devils. 7,319, a virtual sellout was on hand to watch that one. And as we all know by now, your Belfast Giants had the overtime win in the 64th minute, courtesy of Ben Lake. Says, I'll start with you. You obviously had an evening off here from your normal sort of broadcast duties, and hopefully you got to actually sit back and watch the game. What were your thoughts? Obviously, a cagey start, and the Giants then went 2 goals down.
I thought we started really, really well, actually, to be honest. I mean, the majority of the game, you know, we controlled. We were, you know, there's a lot of people talking and making excuses about the 4D. That's not our problem. We've got to beat what's in front of us, and that's exactly what we did. You know, yes, it's tough on 4 defensemen. We've been there. You know, I remember a couple of seasons ago, we were down to 3 defensemen on occasion, and you know, you just need to find a way to get through it. And I thought we played really, really well. Davy and I were sitting watching the game together for the whole game, and you know, it's difficult when you're used to sitting talking the whole way through the game. It's difficult to shut up. And I still find myself sort of commentating while the game's going on. And you know, I said that Davy, you know, it started the end of the second period. You know, the third goal is absolutely crucial. The next goal in this game, if there is one, is absolutely massive. And you know, Cardiff got their 2 goals because we made 2 mistakes. That's the bottom line. We've been, as the coin of phrase from Neil, the coach Russell, you know, we've been waxed lyrical about Griffin Reinhardt all season long, and he made a couple of mistakes. Him and Cam Knight, you know, two mistakes and we conceded 2 goals, and that's very uncharacteristic of him. And you know, it was one of those games where, you know, we as I say, we had the puck for long periods of time. Yes, Cardiff had shots on goal, and when we got the end stats through the next morning, I couldn't believe what I was looking at, and I'm pretty sure they were wrong, because you know, but it did say on the end stats that we got through, they got 10 shots, 9 on target for the whole game.
I think in terms of the end stat, throw it in the bin. I'm going to do the game for Kiefer. Half the first period wasn't even uploaded for them to do the stats, so give them a bye ball on it. But they had a bad day. Doing their stats.
But coming down, you know, you're 2-0 down, you're getting into the third period, and as I say, I remember saying to Davy, this next goal is huge. They get the next goal, they're going to win the game. That's it. And we managed to come out and get that third goal, obviously, to make it 2-1. And from then on in, yeah, I thought we were brilliant. I thought we really, really pushed the game. Besco come up with a massive save with a couple of minutes to go.
He did.
You know, that was the game right on the stick there, to be honest. You know, and you know, you see that play coming around behind the net there to tie it up with Goody, to make it 2 each. And, you know, for the first goal, again, you know, that man, Mark Garside, which playing in his 599th game for the Giants, throws it to Hookie. Hookie gets it on target, and Caruth makes a mistake. I don't know. That's exactly what happened. He basically made a mistake. He didn't block right away into the corner. So as he got in the end of it in the crease, made it 2-1. So it was, I thought I know there was a lot of neutrals watching that game, and for anybody coming in to watch it for the first time, it was absolutely massive and a huge game and a great advert for British hockey. But you know, I'll let Davey go on here and talk about the overtime goal, because, you know, again, I've never made it down a flight of stairs as quick after we scored that. But you know, brilliant to get the win overall. Yeah, I thought we thoroughly deserved it.
Yeah, as Simon says there, Davey, the third period was the spark, that Tyler Soy sort of plucking it out of the air. And even on the second goal, I think something that went a little bit under the radar is how Scott Conway at the edge of the crease just takes his man out of the way for David Goodwin to hit that. Just brilliant to see those kind of little things all paying off. But as Simon says, obviously the roar for that first goal from Tyler Soy was rivaling the Ireland game in the Continental Cup. And from then on in, the Giants were spectacular.
I felt, honestly, not even from then on in, the Giants were spectacular. I felt we bested the whole game. And Simon talks about mistakes, and yes, the puck gets slightly caught up. Griff gives it away at the blue line. Cam Knight's chasing it back, and he just lifts his head to look for the stretch pass, and it kind of gets caught up on the ice just a little bit, maybe a little bit of puddle or whatever, and it just slows down. By the time he looks up again, it's too late, and they've made a play. The forwards coming back just don't pick up just quick enough. And the second one, it's actually Bomber and Gary, I think, on the ice, and Scott Conway kind of toe picks and goes into the boards and loses his man. And by the time I think it's Gary realizes he's getting the puck, he goes to close the puck, and it's bang, bang, it's in the net. And we're playing catch-up. On a 2-0 down, lesser teams could crumble. And I think that I know it's cliche to say the sixth man off the ice and all. The crowd were exceptional. Even when we went 2-0 down, they got behind the boys. And it was a bit of a rally. Don't underestimate Laura Small's part in this, who came in at the end of the second period and went, don't worry, we've got this. I'll not tell you what she did, but she did something that was clutch, that she was so certain was going to come up, and it came up trumps, and we won. That third goal, when Dogs pops it in the Coops and he drives that net, Simon will talk about this. The guys play this little pass under the pads for Laker coming in. I know Paul Lady said on commentary he tries to lift the beat, doesn't he? Just slides it under Cruz. He identifies that Cruz has gone. If you're on WhatsApp, or if you're on YouTube, that's a good. Davey's gone to the post. He covers that post, and he's covered everything low with his pads, and he's covered everything high with his shoulder. And Coops alert just slides it in on the pad for Ben Lake to come in. Takes a nasty one to the face, but you know, you do those things to win championships. And for me, I think the Giants dominated for long stretches of this game. And Simon talks about neutrals. There it is on the big screen. Neutrals, Cardiff fans, and credit to the Cardiff fans that stayed and clapped the presentation as well, because they're better than I would have been. And, you know, fair play to them for that. But here's Goody lifting the first trophy of the season. And on the night, absolutely well-deserved. And, you know, a bit of adversity for them. They had to come back from 2-goal deficit. But they stuck to the task. They stuck to the process. We talked, I'm not 100% sure if Simon went on to mention about the 4D. Who was it on the left side of the 4D, Simon?
Matt Register.
Matt Register. Kevin Rain they've broke down the left-hand side, and Kevin Rain has led a massive hit that then the puck's got chipped out, and we've got a defensive zone. Let me get rid of this here off the screen. We've had a defensive zone face-off, and Simon and me were talking, as he says, he commentated the whole way through the game. I stood the whole way through the game. He sat and commentated beside me the whole way through. And I would say your left arm's probably got a few bruises on the next morning.
Doug the RV.
I think Smallsy came and stood beside me. I said, that's a really, really bad place to stand. Every hit you're thumping into him. But we both commented. He said, Register's out on his feet here. And credit to him, he'd gone 65 minutes or whatever, and he played over half an hour. I think the four D men played roughly half an hour each, as you would imagine, with only 4D. but he was out on his feet. And when that puck goes wall, he just doesn't quite have it in him to get back. And that was the attrition of the Giants, just keeping going, getting it in deep, making them turn, making them turn, and making them turn. So credit the Giants for keep going. When that game-winning goal, although it was reviewed, when that went in, Simon Kitchen has jumped and we've hugged each other. And we were in box 7, and I think Kel and Mac were there. And by the time I'd high-fived Kel and Mac, Simon Kitchen was on the ice.
Yeah,
stunning. So that tells you, this guy can still move. And so it was a great end of great evening. We were very fortunate to be allowed access down on the ice there to see the things happening firsthand and get a wee picture with the trophy and all the things that we're very fortunate to be able to do. But in terms of the hockey, I don't think you can complain about the result. Had it been a wider result and not gone to overtime, I think we probably deserved. And as Simon has said, more than anything, one standout highlight there that I didn't have in the clips was that save from Besko. The speed that he comes out, right, it was glove on it. He just comes right out of the top of blue paint, 1-on-1. They score that, it's dead. And we just stuck with the task, we stuck with the process. They kept believing in each other, kept rolling those couple of lines and got their opportunities. And when Goody, Pick and Cons don't get the goal, you can be sure that Coops and Ben Lake are linking up there. So dogs, so credit, absolutely brilliant night.
So just that we obviously have 2 more games to talk about as the Giants kind of got back into league action. But just before we move on from the Challenge Cup final, Simon, you talked about the neutrals and a massive crowd that was in that night. I can't remember who I was speaking to, but I think it was to Robert actually on the ice after. I said, look around. There's nobody in a seat tonight that's going to leave that arena and go, nah, probably wouldn't be back. Like, that's a fantastic night for business, but also the continued investment from the Odyssey Trust. It was the opening of the new off-ice bar, and it's just fantastic to see those facilities continue to be worked on and developed, and you obviously are amongst that every day.
Yeah, there's more changes coming as well. I mean, the new bar, everybody was there. Obviously, we got a chance to say we were on the stage in the corner having a bit of a conversation, and then there's a guy playing music as well. But look, and that the thing about it is it's not finished yet. There's still a few changes need to be made to it, but the F&B team have done a brilliant job to put that whole thing together, and obviously get the ops team to get it all open. So it's been a long time coming. A few more changes to be made and are being made at the minute, but it's long from over. The Odyssey Trust are there for investment, and they're there for the long run. So it's looking good.
And thank you to everyone who joined us for a View from the Bridge live ahead of face-off. Much appreciated. And as my good friend Davy and Simon brings up the second game of the week, which was Friday.
Just keep talking about it.
Which was the 19th of March, which was Friday, right? Saturday, was it? It was Saturday. Saturday's encounter with the Dundee Stars as the Giants got back to league action. 4-1, your final score, so no Challenge Cup hangovers here. Belfast streaking into the lead with 3 goals in the first period. Dundee chipping 1 back in the middle period. And then that last goal on the 43rd to kind of kill the game off came from JJ Pikanich. 4,213 in attendance for that one. And your referees, Andy Dalton and David Good, Linos, James Nelson, and Vitas Lukasovicius. David, I'll come to you first on that one. That was a professional return to business for the Belfast Giants, and probably, what you would consider a potential banana skin so soon after a massive performance and a massive game in the Challenge Cup final.
Yeah, well, you could be mistaken for thinking there could have been a little bit of a hangover in terms of, I'm not talking about, well, probably a bit of a hangover as well. I'm sure the boys were allowed a day to celebrate, but this team's all about business, and say we're fortunate to be down there talking to some of them after the game on Wednesday night, and there sure is a big appetite that, to go and get more. Success breeds success, and boys want to keep winning, and that first period was always going to be crucial. Coming out there, Brighton Priest had what, maybe 4 wins on the bounce, says something like that.
4 out of 5.
Yep. But we got at him early. Deco made a really good point about the difference between a goalie that blocks and gloves with different hands, and the differences that little idiosyncrasies that makes for players. But we got at them early. Bush getting that first goal was absolutely crucial for us to come out there a quick start, and that gives us that little bit of belief. Just even looking at that video, and I know Deco mentioned it with you, Priest seemed to go at a lot with his glove and maybe not just glove it down very much. And I think he's identified, I think Deco even said it in the scouting report from the goals we'd watched over the previous weeks. A lot of the saves he had made glove side were shrugs and elbows and stuff rather than clean. So get shots at his glove and go in there for the rebounds. And the boys did that. And then you come up with the second goal, the power play one, which we've been quite successful with. Top of the right, the bottom of left, and across the seam. It's usually JJ Pickenich on the bottom left there, tucking them away as it start. Pick was on the top and Coops was on the bottom end of it, but a lovely goal. And once you're 3-0 up, we were cruising at that stage. And I think that, let Simon come on have his say, I think that enabled us to not quite take the foot off the gas, but game manage, because it's only natural to start thinking that you've got another game in 24 hours or less, actually, in 24 hours and travel in between. So it gave the boys a bit of a comfort blanket there that they didn't have to go for the full 60 minutes flat out.
Says you were back in the broadcast booth and back in your familiar surroundings. JJ Pickenich in post-game called that a business performance from the boys, and I think he's pretty right about that. That was a workmanlike and unprofessional performance from the Giants.
Yeah, well, I mean, as Davey touched on there, they certainly were allowed off day off on Thursday to celebrate the cup final win, but they were all told, guys, Friday morning, make sure you're ready to go. And Adam said it was probably one of the best practices of the season. So, they came in Saturday morning, had a good skate Saturday morning to get them loosened up, and you could see as soon as they came out, the Dundee Stars, in fairness, I thought they had a couple of good shifts to start off the game, but then once we got the first goal, we sort of took over, and again, taking your feet off a pedal and Adam utilising the full four lines, and obviously, just throwing in Boucher and Cooper and Pickenich, just rotating around in between Longer and Darcy Murphy. But I thought it was a great performance, to be honest. For something that being a big week and all the focus being on the Challenge Cup final game, I thought it was really, 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 really successful in what we did. And just watching these two finishes by Pickenich, I mean, you couldn't have placed the first one. What's that?
Identical almost.
I did mention at the time he's different gravy. When he's firing, he's just unbelievable. And hitting the 80 points now, I think it is, Davey. He's just 2 goals and 1 assist on that night, got the man of the match performance, and you can just see him here. I mean, Craig Moore he led the team in minutes there against us the other night as well, but he left him standing, and Poirier just didn't close him down quick enough. If you give him time and space, he's going to have to hit the target. Dicko did touch on Brython Priest, struggling with his glove and sort of clasping and stuff, and you see that in younger goaltenders. They sort of they try and be a little bit too eager. They're throwing their hand at it. When they're throwing the hand at it, they sometimes hit the rim and he can't get his hand closed on the puck enough. So that's where you get your rebounds from, and the pops out right at you. And we got that first goal against from Boucher. So solid performance. As I say, to be honest, if we were going to slip up that weekend, that's the game I would have thought we were going to slip up at. Dundee have beat us already 3 times this season. The only team that beat us more than 3 times this season has been the Cardiff Devils. So, you see what they get against us. They sort of find a way to annoy us, and it was important getting the first goal. That was absolutely crucial on Saturday night. But to come out with the 2 points unscathed, ready to go to Manchester the next night. And as I say, just getting the sales back on the after the week that they'd had, and then to find out that Sheffield were beat made it even better. So there's a long I've said it before, there's a long way to go in this yet. It's 11 games, but 9 games, but there's still a lot of hockey to be played.
Yep, absolutely. Just before we move on to the next game, does anybody have any thoughts about Brython Priest? He's obviously a young British goalie. He's only 24, quite limited experience. He's played, I think, in the States or Canada for a little while, but a lot of people kind of tip him for kind of being one to watch for the future. Anyone?
I'm not talking about him because
that's okay.
He's cost me a few quid.
That's all right.
There's a lot of young goaltenders around the UK, not just the elite league, playing in lower leagues that have got an opportunity. You've got the kid Jordan McLaughlin at Dundee, at Glasgow. Sorry, he's played a bit of hockey at Solway. You've got the kid Will Curlin at Nottingham, seems to have a decent background. You've got the kid in Coventry, can't remember his name. There's a lot of young goaltenders about, and it's the toughest position to get, because at the end of the day, you've got 24, 25 guys that are allowed to take the World Championships, and 3 of them are allowed to be goalies. So, it's a tough position to get involved in. Boundy's still going to be around for another few years. Jackson Whistle is, arguably between him and Ben Bounds when they're going to get the World Championships coming around. So there's not very many opportunities for them to grab hold of.
was going to ask this, what age is Jackson? He's not that old altogether.
Jackson's 25, I believe.
Yeah, so no age really.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. Anyway, on to Sunday and the now traditional Sunday sweats. It was another thriller on the road for your Belfast Giants as they headed to Altrincham and the Drizzle Dome. Our fearless leader, Patrick Smith, was in attendance to watch that one. And he watched quite a game, your Belfast Giants. Obviously, actually, it was the Storm who scored first, I think. Adam Brady scored early on the power play goal. The Giants brought it back to 2-1 by the end of that first period, had 3 unanswered in the second, and then it all went a bit Pete-tong in the third. Simon, I'll come to you first if you don't mind. What were your thoughts on this one? How can you summarize? Obviously, I think the Giants maybe in the driver's seat, certainly through to that third period, and then things didn't really go their way.
After 40 minutes, I decided, right, okay, I mean, to be honest, I was in the middle of accepting all the bets manually for the auction. So I was just sort of keeping an eye on the goals come up.
A little busy.
The goals. We're 5-1 up, and I said, right, Chaz, let's go. We need to go down and get a few bits and pieces out of the garage before I go to hockey. My hockey training's on Sunday night. And when I turned around and came back from going to the garage, it was 5 each. When I'm sitting going, what is happening here? And we just fell apart. You know, it's one of those ones where you know, I don't think we come out of the dressing room for the third period. I haven't caught up with Adam to find out if there was a what's the word for it? Prognosis after the game to find out exactly what happened. But in the history books, it'll just say 6-5 to the Belfast Giants, and
correct,
we found a way to win. You know, we sort of come out in the penalty box. We talk about it all the time. We need to stay out of the penalty box. Yes. Was there a couple of soft calls from the ones that I seen? Absolutely. Rayner's one over the hitting it over the glass because the glass is like 3 foot high over there. You know, that's a stonewall penalty all day long. That doesn't help the cause. They get a couple of I think it was 3 power play goals they got.
It was 3, yeah.
You know, 3 power play goals on the night. Your man Brady got a hat trick. You give them momentum in their own rank, and we know they're decent. So it was disappointing to concede that many goals in the third period. 4 goals against in the third period, and as I say, we just didn't turn up. So bottom line, we come out, we get the goal in the overtime period. Great play by Rayner, just tipping away from the guy behind the net. Goody sends one right up a wall on the coops, and he's away in for a breakaway. So great finish by him. And as I say, 6-5 is all you're going to worry about down the line. The one thing that is a concern for me is we should have got it done in regulation, because the regulation wins will count at the end of the year, and this could come back to bite us in the arse.
It's a very fair point. Davy, I think Coach Keefe talked a little bit in media kind of post-game about just whenever that's happened, there's nothing you can do about it. You find a way. Mark Cooper found that OT goal in the 1:35 of overtime, and you just have to scratch it off and carry on because the next game's coming thick and fast. But what are your thoughts on kind of what went down in the third period?
Yeah, we lost a little bit of momentum for sure, given that early power play away in the third period. There'll not be many players have a shorthanded or a power play hat trick against us. You know, he got all 3 of his goals with the extra man. The 5-on-3 at the start, bit unfortunate. You know, Jackson isn't able to keep it out, but we'll come back really well. Sam Roop crashed in the net again and again. It's actually Sam had the initial shot, as came back to him. He's passed at the Rayner. Rayner's had a shot. There's a delayed penalty coming. Soisy jumps into the mix. There's a big scramble in front, and Roop, Big Sam goes in again. Has about 3 or 4 bites at it, and we'll come up with the 1 each. Then Longer gets one. Nice to see Longer getting a goal. Jumped in on a line change. I think it's Conway's came off. Pickenich and Goody have found him with the puck. I know it's down as unassisted, but it's certainly not. Number 6, Jeff Baum, keeps it in at the blue line, tips it back inside, taking a bit of a ricochet, and Longers came in and found the top corner really nicely. Dogs has came up with a good goal. We've gone 5-1 up. Everybody in the arena, Simon not in the arena, has gone to the shops because the game's over, apart from one guy. Zach Sullivan's on commentary with
fair play to Zach Sullivan, yeah.
Yeah, and Zach Sullivan called. He goes, the team aren't out of this yet. They will be in the locker room here. We've reacted well after the 5th goal. We'll come out and we'll try and get the next goal. And Simon talked about the Cardiff game, about next goals being crucial, and players will talk about that. The next goal, even 5-1 down, next goal is crucial. 5-2, anything can happen. 5-3, and that's the way it went. We just played a little. It was Derek Walser might have called it a little loosey goosey in that sort of 10-minute period from 40 to 50 minutes, and all of a sudden, and you talk about the ice tilting, the ice had tilted, and we just couldn't get that puck out of the tiny neutral zone. And then it became a bit of a track meet, as someone said the other week there. We're going up and down the ice. And unfortunately for us, they've got that 5th goal, tied it up. And at that stage, you're hanging on for the regulation win. They came up with a few opportunities. Jackson Wilson's made a good couple of saves. There's been a few blocks through in there from the boys. And of course, we had our opportunities to win as well. And Boccaccio made a few saves for them. It's gone to OT. And as you can see in the game sheet there, it's down as Rayner is the only assist. But I think Rayner picks it off behind the goal. And Mark Cooper actually has the puck high in the Manchester zone. I'm really sorry for people that are on YouTube. I had the goals cut and file corrupted. We just didn't have time to cut them.
We'll forgive you, mate.
Coops has it on the half wall, right about halfway into the Manchester zone, and it kind of bobbles off a stick, and they get a breakaway. But Coops actually identifies quite quickly that it probably looks like Goody and Rayner are going to win the battle to get the puck, and he and this is a really crass term, but he cheats. So he comes back round and sort of hangs out at their blue line, and they just haven't identified. Oh dear, he's in behind. Rayner passes along behind to Goody, and Goody just bang, 150-foot pass. Well, it's not that long. The rink's not that long. 100-foot pass, bang, and he's away to the races. And once he's in one-on-one with Boccaccio just ever so slightly dips, bang, it's over his shoulder, and game's over. So really, really fantastic. To come up with the pass for the game-winning goal in the Challenge Cup final, to come up with the game-winning goal in OT. I know Simon says about the regulation win, and he's absolutely right. We're a little bit ahead in regulation wins against Sheffield. We've got to play them a few times. We've got a few points of a gap, but these are crucial. You've got to win those games in regulation when you're 5-1 up. Game management and all. It happens. You'll agree with that too, Simon. Sometimes you just can't work out what happened. I don't know that we need a massive postmortem on it, other than we got the 2 points. Yeah. And we'll have to move on.
Yeah, it's about the momentum. If you bring Long, should you bring Longer in now because he's there?
Whip him in, why not? It's time for the fan agenda, brought to you by our friends at Belfast Giants TV. And Davy, if you don't mind bringing in a man who hit the net twice in his old house in Altrincham, Mr. Ciaran Long.
Oh,
hello, there he is.
Gents. Rookie. It's been a while.
You probably hears behind the scenes there talking about the game on Sunday night, and you've been in that, you played in that rink before. It's a tough place for any team to go into, especially if the Storm get a bit of momentum. And they come out in the third period. And I just said I don't think we come out for the third at all. It was real tough for us. But they get that power play goal. They get another power play immediately after that, which I'm not sure they scored on the power play, but they scored just after it. And you give them momentum. You give any team momentum, and they've got a chance of winning. And that's exactly what we did to them on Sunday night.
Yeah, definitely. Like going into Manchester, you could have any kind of lead. The game's never going to be over because it's such a smaller ice service, and like we saw on Sunday, anything can happen within seconds of that game. And give credit to where Manchester. They really stuck it to us that third period, and I think we were a little shell-shocked. But thankfully, we reacted well enough in OT to get the 2 points.
I'll come in there. Longer, it's a building that you have success in. You obviously had what was a breakout season in Manchester, which led to your signing for the Giants. Is it that old familiarity that comes back in, that you played so many games in Altrincham, you're comfortable with the dimensions of that smaller ice pad and the conditions in that rink that kind of propels you to success whenever you go there?
Yeah, I would say like knowing the ice service is a lot easier. It does help. You just have to be way quicker with your decisions and not think about what you're about to do. You need to kind of know what you want to do before. Like you need to be 3 steps ahead of the game really in Manchester because you don't have the time. I actually described it to someone. It was when you go to Manchester, it's almost a similar experience to being in the World Championships where you just don't have the time at all.
And they even know that when you're playing the World Championships, you're playing on full-size ice.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing with guys that are so much quicker.
Yeah.
David?
Joel?
Welcome back to the show. It's on at the minute, actually. That's Ciaran.
All right, okay. I was talking to Cez earlier on. We were talking about the Manchester game, and I was saying that I was describing Simon had gone to shops because the game was over. it obviously tilted slightly the ice on us, and we ended up with a draw. But we're talking about the 2 goals in particular you scored. And it was kind of fortuitous. You jumped on there. I think you swapped with Collins both times, and ended up with Goody and Pick coming up with. But just going into the slot for the second one, keeping your stick in the ice and letting those guys find it and getting shots away quick, I guess, was crucial as well.
Yeah, definitely. I was fortunate on the first one. I literally come from the bench, and there was kind of a little bit of a cluster going on in the slot. And then, fortunately, the puck flew out like straight to me, so I was able to get a good jump around the crowd and made a good shot, and thankfully it went in.
Longer, you've played quite a few positions this season for us. Obviously not goalie yet, but
I'm still waiting for that call up.
We're still waiting for that call. Yeah, don't count your chickens. What's your favorite position?
Oh, left wing would be my natural position, but I'm here to win trophies. So, in all honesty, anything will do if it gets the job done and it helps the team.
You've obviously, you've give up those 4 goals. We get the winner in an OT. What's the conversation in the dressing room after the game? Adam, pleased?
It's more of a, well, let's forget about that, and we won't bring this one back up. And look, we had a crazy week with the Challenge Cup win, and then going straight into that weekend with 2 tough games. So I think we're all just happy to get out there with 4 points because we've all got bigger things in our mind.
Let's take it back then longer to Wednesday night. Quite a night, over 7,000 packed into the SSE, the Odyssey, which is a brilliant night to be involved off the ice. What was it like being on the ice for that?
Yeah, it was mental. It was good to see the full crowd. It was an awesome Belfast Cardiff game, really. Unfortunately, my cross check was a little too hard to start the game.
Talk me through your first shift.
Well, I got my head kind of jolted from a hit, and I kind of just thought, all right, let's try to get the crowd into it. I initially was going to try and fight him, but may have had too much anger behind the cross check and sent him flying. Obviously, I'm going to get a penalty for that, so he's not going to really come after me to affect their power play kind of thing. But thankfully, the boys had a big kill for me.
And we will go to Twitter for a few. There was a lot of excitement about the man I have dubbed the Demon Barber of Belfast. Great haircuts, by the way. Kate, follow Longer on Twitter and catch up with when his availability is. Davey, I don't know if you have a wee video for me ready, mate, but I want to start with a VIP question that's come in on Twitter from the other coach of the Belfast Giants.
Right, hang on. Might have to cue us again. Give me a chance. Right. Oh, no, I've got it muted. See us. Oh. Need Paddy back. Hang on. Here we go. Third time lucky. Here we go.
No, he's ruined it.
Hang on. Yeah. 4th time lucky. Here we go. This is it.
Oh, Dahi.
We are joined.
I love you too, Dahi.
A video sent in there from Stephen Martin by Coach Dahi, who was in his Adam Keefe suit at the game on Wednesday night and making everybody very, very happy. I walked past him after the game, and he was in his buggy wearing his suit, just absolutely crushing a teal cupcake, and there was just icing all over his face. So I was like, that is how to celebrate. But Coach Dahi wanted to ask if you would do a little 5-year-old skin fade. Is that in the Ciaran Long textbook?
That is not in the Ciaran Long textbook at the moment. I mean, I could give it a go, and I'm sure the boys in the shop will give me a hand. We could give it a go. I mean, Dahi's a legend, and I'd be honoured to have Coach Dahi sit in my barber seat.
What a kid. What
a legend.
Question from Alan Brett, and Sis brought it up there. Being able to play at both ends has been extremely helpful when shorthanded. Did you enjoy the actual transition to playing D? And do you think it's improved or helped your overall game, having that kind of technical knowledge of kind of every position on the ice, pretty much, apart from goaltender at this point?
Not really. I've had to play D previously before for a couple of teams in the EPL, and I've always kind of, in my later 20s, I kind of picked up more of a defensive mentality during, like, in the second league, I was quite successful, so I'd won quite quite a bit in that league. And one of my teammates, Joe Greener, he was always like, it's good that I can score goals, but you have to have a defense mind first mentality if you want to win championships. And ever since playing with him, I feel like I've always kind of had a defensive mindset, even when I was scoring a lot.
Longer, I wanted to ask you. I mean, I've seen, I think it was yesterday, I seen that Ciaran Brown from Leeds had scored just over 100 points, and there's a lot of positivity about it. Fantastic. It's great to get him scoring goals, and a lot of Steelers fans saying that he should, step up, and there's other people jumping on the thing on his back saying, well, he's playing. Why would he want to jump up the elite league? He's playing it, whatever amount of minutes he's playing. He's scoring goals. He's playing shorthanded. He's playing power play time. What's your view on that as a player? I mean, looking at the bigger picture, playing elite league hockey, the highest level of hockey in the UK, or taking that step down to playing the EPL or the NIHL, whatever it might be. What's your view on
that? Well, obviously with my career, I spent 11 or 12 seasons in the EPL, and that obviously helped me with being able to play every important shift, playing on power play, playing penalty kill. It gives you that experience. But I would say for the younger generation, you do learn a lot playing, but you can also learn a lot from watching. It is a difficult one, but I think personally, Ciaran Brown, if he doesn't think, he might even have personal reasons as to why he's not playing in the elite league. We don't know that. So there's a lot to consider. If you don't think you're going to be playing too much at a young age, and I think at a younger age, the best thing for you to do is to be playing the game.
Longer, let's bring it forward a few days. Big weekend coming up here in the Odyssey. The team I love to hate, or I just hate, coming in, and it's got to be almost one period at a time, one shift at a time. We can't get too far ahead of ourselves, but this is a big weekend again coming up. They're kind of improving a little bit, if anything.
Yeah, I think we've been saying it for a long time now. Every game here on out is a playoff game. If we want to win that league title, we can't afford to drop points. Everyone knows we have to play Sheffield 3 more times, which could be that could be the league deciding 3 games right there. So it is just take it day by day, game by game, and not try to look too far ahead and get carried away, kind of thing.
Longer, does it kind of, well, I mean, I am certainly the furthest thing from a pro athlete, and something that's kind of been joked about during the week on Twitter, and everybody kind of going back and forward after obviously a couple of games that were quite stressful. The anxiety absolutely hangs out of me when I watch kind of any of my teams, and especially the Giants, just because they mean so much to me. Whenever you're a player, like at this stage of the season, when you're really down the stretch, and whenever those games are kind of coming thick and fast, and there's not much left, and it's tight at the top, do you carry nerves? Are you okay in your day and daily life? I guess it's all part and parcel of the job.
Yeah, and I guess through experience as well, you kind of, being one of the older boys, unfortunately, you've been I've been in similar situations, so it's just trying to pass what I've been through previously down to the younger lads, that maybe not have been in the same spots. But it is, at the end of the day, all about being composed and consistent, which we've showed so far all year. So I think we've got a great group of boys, and I think we can get the job done. It's just we need to stay consistent with it.
It's no surprise, but you're a braver man than I. A couple of questions from Twitter just before we wrap. Thank you very much for your time tonight, mate. Teal Trooper asks, after a topsy-turvy season before COVID halted the last played season, whenever you came back into Belfast for kind of your I think it was your first full, or were you there the year before? My head's away. Did you feel that you came in with a point to prove after kind of coming back with that season that had been called early? I think that's obviously in reference to the breakout year in Manchester, and then obviously a little more muted in the scoring charts the year after. Did you come back with a point to prove?
Yeah, definitely. I think every player would. I think the thing with being a player, you're never going to be happy with. Like the year I had in Manchester, I wasn't happy with the points to finish on. I wanted more. You're never going to want to be satisfied. if you want to be better. So yeah, I kind of have that attitude every year that you want to bet yourself. And I mean, it's the same with most things in life. Every year, every day's a learning day. So like you there's days you think you might have mastered something, and then someone else comes along and does it way better, and you're like, how did you just do that? So, like,
you've just described my experience of sitting on this podcast every week. One last one from Twitter. Chris Stanley asks, what's your favourite barn to play in away from Belfast? I'm going to hazard a guess at Manchester because you keep hitting the onion bag, but do you have a favourite place to go apart from the SSE Arena?
That's a tough question, actually. What would be? No, not really.
Towing the company line.
Yeah.
Liberats was pretty good.
Yeah, that was cool. Luleå wasn't as cool because we didn't really touch the puck. What else? Where else?
Augsburg.
No, yeah, Augsburg was cool as well. That I always wanted to play a German team, and that was a sick experience, just because like you see videos of the fans on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, and it was cool to experience like the atmosphere in a German game.
Just to go back to the Liberats, just to even like walking around, you know, behind the scenes there, the setup of that rink and the hotel beside it, and like there's more spin bikes outside the locker room than David Lloyd's has. Like it was an incredible setup. Like they had of the boxes, the suites, the rink. It was just stunning how the other half live. And we're blessed in Belfast with an amazing facility, but that's just like different level.
Yeah, no, it was an experience seeing that. And at Liberec, actually, I got to meet up with one of my old teammates who's from Prague. So he took a trip down to see me. So that was pretty cool as well.
Listen, you're probably getting a little bit of downtime tonight before probably being on the ice tomorrow again longer, so we will let you go. Thank you so much for joining the show again. Find Ciaran Long on Twitter or Instagram. If you want to drop your handles, mate. Anybody want to get a haircut?
Anyone need a haircut? You know where I'm at. Twitter, Instagram. Just hit me up.
He's taking bookings from mid-May. After the season's over, he's full-time barber again. So
just up until June.
And then
June is completely off. Well, there's 1 week in June I can do for some people, but the big old wedding day is going to take priority.
It's coming up, but before you go, plans going well. How much fun are you finding plan a wedding?
If I say I've planned any of it, I might get killed. So.
No, that sounds about right, to be fair.
Yeah, no, we're just finishing off small details now, so it's getting pretty exciting, to be honest.
Excellent. Well, we obviously wish you all the very best. It's weird. I haven't seen the view from the bridge invite. That's really strange. I must check my email inbox.
It's in the post.
You not got yours yet, Joel?
No, that sounds about right, to be fair.
It's a bit awkward.
Listen, all three of you enjoy the day, right? I'll be watching on Twitter. Longer, thank you so much for your time tonight, and good luck this weekend. All the best.
Well, welcome. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, Ciaran.
And Davy's going to kick you out.
I can kick himself out, but here we go. Get lost. All right, cheers longer there in the background, but yes, appreciate you coming on there.
Boys, we will take a really, really quick run through scores from around the league and some news. Just if you don't mind, normally as the part where Paddy goes, Joel, the news, but I'm just going to hand it myself. Last Wednesday, the Manchester Storm defeated the Coventry Blaze 2-1 out in the shootout. Friday, they took it back to Aldringham and beat the Blaze 4-1. Also on Friday, the Cardiff Devils downed the Glasgow Clan by 4-2. On Saturday, the Clan went away to Guildford, winning 3-1. The Nottingham Panthers, in probably what was the headline game of the night, apart from our own at the SSE Arena, the Panthers came back and beat the Sheffield Steelers, I think for the first time this season, 3-0. And the Fife Flyers also took the Cardiff Devils to the shootout and won that one 2-1. On Sunday, the Nottingham Panthers beat the Glasgow Clan 4-3 in overtime. The Dundee Stars defeated the Coventry Blaze 2-1 in Dundee. The Manchester Storm and your Belfast Giants, as you know, had a bit of an entertaining afternoon. The Giants with that overtime win, and the Sheffield Steelers got back to winning ways in Kirkcaldy with that 5-2 win over Fife. As we record tonight, there is a game going on. The Guildford Flames are at the Spectrum against the Fife Flyers, and last I saw, that game was 1 each. Davey, I don't know. Do you have standings for me, mate?
Gee, you've done me up here.
That's fine. We can talk.
I've got them. Talk about something. Talk about what they look like, or what I.
While you're doing that,
How's
can
that?
I just say hello and good evening to Jeff Baum's dad, Jeff Baum, who it was great to see in person, by the way, at the SSE Arena. And I told him that I would rep my Autoplex Customs mug tonight. No free ads. So good to see Jeff Baum Sr. And yes, there you go. The table as it stands, I'm sure it's not a new thing to anyone who's watching or listening tonight. I've been looking at it nearly every day as if it's somehow going to change or update. But as you see, your Belfast Giants are top of the league with 72 points from 45 games played. In second, and with the game in hand, the Sheffield Steelers sit on 68, so 4 points behind with that game in hand. The Cardiff Devils in third with 64 from 47. Nottingham Panthers still in fourth, where I feel like they've been all season long with 49 points, still quite a ways back there from their 45 games played. Look at the wee Dundee Stars. Omar Pasha has pushed the Stars into fifth place with 41 wins from 42 games, and it's still way tight as you go towards the bottom and that all-important 8th place for playoff contention. The Glasgow Clan sitting in 6th with 43 from 41. The Coventry Blaze 38 from 42, and currently in playoff contention, but only 2 points ahead. The Guildford Flames, as they are currently tied, could add a big point to that. They're sitting on 38 from 43 in 8th. Out of playoff contention right now, the Manchester Storm on 36 from 45. And in 10th, where they have been all season long, it's the Fife Flyers with 31 points from 44. A really quick look at a couple of bits of news. There isn't a great deal, boys. Malcolm Cameron suspended. Malcolm Cameron's my favorite person in the league this year. I absolutely cannot get enough of the man's post-game interviews. He was fined and suspended by Dops for one game following incidents both during and immediately following their game against Dundee on the 13th of March. Dops handed it to that same organisation, the disciplinary committee, which deals with issues that fall outside the scope of Dops, and he served a suspension. I think this was to do with comments about referees, but I could be wrong. I think he had to go at the refs in post-game. But another couple of bits, and we'll get back to it. The Glasgow Clan and the Guildford Flames had a game postponed due to illness within the team, which only came to light on the morning of the game, which was Tuesday the 15th of this month. Clan were unable to meet the minimum number of skaters and goalies required to play, and then a decision on the outcome of that fixture was made in due course. And finally, the Sheffield Arena today announced, the Sheffield Steelers today announced a new 7-year partnership with Sheffield City Trust, securing their future at the Utilita Arena until the end of season 29-30. And in the current climate and the way things are, stability is everything. But you can get rid of that league table, mate, and we'll take a quick look ahead to this weekend before we wrap things up. Obviously, your Belfast Giants taking on the Nottingham Panthers in a massive doubleheader. They're all massive at this point on Friday the 25th and Saturday the 26th at 7 p.m. Simon, I don't know if you've had a chance to be around practice or chat to any of the boys or whatever, but it goes without saying that they're going to be ready to roll this weekend. No
practices yet. They've had a couple of days off resting after a busy week. So, yeah, they'll be back on the ice tomorrow morning or today as you're listening to this. And, yeah, 2 games against Nottingham and then away against Glasgow next Tuesday. So, big week ahead.
And Davy, I'll not ask you about your favourite part of the show, talking about games that are coming up this weekend. But whenever it's the Nottingham Panthers, regardless of the stage of the season, it's something with a little bit more meaning to Belfast Giant fans of a certain vintage. Are you ready for this one?
I want to beat them in every game we ever play them. It doesn't matter whether it's a dead rubber or the playoff final. This is the team that I want to beat. I know that we're up against the Sheffield Steelers in terms of the top of the table. Cardiff Devils aren't quite out of it yet. We're doing a little bit of number crunching the other day, and they have to have a hell of an end of the season to get themselves back in. Don't count them out as kingmakers, as well. They've got lots of games to play against other teams, and that'll affect the standings, top and bottom. It was interesting. I was talking to Omar Pasha the other day, and he was saying that he wasn't too worried about the Belfast Giants winning the other night. He was more concerned about the Manchester Storm getting that extra point, as Simon talked about, taking it to overtime. He's looking at that bottom half of the table. Although he's sitting in 5th there at the minute, he'll be looking to push on at the Nottingham Panthers, but he's looking at what's coming up behind him as well. Desperate to qualify his team for the playoffs and showcase what they can do in the postseason. So good luck to Pass, because we've got a lot of time for him. In terms of the Panthers, we've had really strong performances against them this season. No reason why we can't do it again. Cliche time again here, Joel. It's all about what we do in this first few minutes in the first period. We have got out some really strong starts lately. I'm just hoping that the boys can do it again. One thing's for sure, they will be prepped and ready to go.
Yeah, those games are this Friday the 25th and Saturday the 26th. Both games face off at 7 p.m. in what says rightly calls the best hockey arena in the UK, the SSE Arena. Tickets are on sale, excuse me, at belfastgiants.com. Grab your tickets, get down to the barn, make some noise for the boys. Every single bum and every single seat and every single voice, and however you support, it's all important at this stage in the season. If you can't make it down to the arena, Says will be on Belfast Giants TV for both of those games, and you can find them through the Belfast Giants website and also on Twitter. I think we're about to set a new record, boys, for the shortest view from the bridge of the season. And so before we do that and go and chill out for a little bit, does anyone have any other business?
I have a few, actually. I wanted to say congratulations to Solway Sharks. I was speaking to Jamie Thompson earlier on, who's the assistant coach there, alongside Scott Grubb, two ex-teammates of mine, and we Cal Beatty obviously got himself a Challenge Cup trophy medal on Wednesday night, and then he followed that up with a championship winning trophy on Saturday night. So they're playing this weekend against I can't remember who they're playing against this weekend. But I was speaking with Jamie, and he says that the NIHL North they have 4 games left, but they beat the second place team, Whitley Bay, who had then folded a week later, which I'd only heard about this afternoon. So Whitley Bay and I gone, and they beat them for the 3rd time in the league the week before. So that basically, because they had to cease playing, the Solway Sharks won the game off the ice. Cal leaves for Tallinn on Tuesday with GB. So he's going over this weekend to lift the trophy against the team that they're playing. I can't remember who it is, who they're playing this weekend. So I was speaking to Jamie, as I say, and he says that the wee man's got so much better over the last 4 or 5 months. He's playing a lot of big minutes for them, because one of the guys that plays for the Solway Sharks has been away working on the oil rigs. So Kel's had to step up. He started to score. He scored the week before last as well. And he's really pleased at the way things are going. He's hoping to hold on to him for another couple of years while he develops in that league, and hopefully has a chance to go full-time with a chance, maybe 2-3 years' time. So congratulations to Solway, team I used to play for, previously called Dumfries. But great to have them playing well and winning trophies, because that's what it's all about. Like,
it was really lovely to see. I'm sure you'll agree, really lovely to see Kel and Mac get the taste of what that championship feeling felt like, and to be on the ice for those celebrations and get those medals hung around their neck. Davy, as a boy from East Belfast yourself, it must give you a lump in the throat to see that, especially because of obviously Mac's connection to his dad and his history with the Giants.
Okay, there were some lovely photographs, and you talked about me talking about making memories. We said at the start of the show, we were very fortunate we were able to make our own and take our own pictures, but seeing like pictures with Mac and Stewie together on the ice afterwards, Kel, and being so a part of the team, the guys who have just won. I know Kel and Mac had to watch the game from the sidelines to do with the stupidity of the amount of people you can have on a bench. What is it, 19 instead of 22? Those guys could have been sitting on the bench watching that game. You bring that rule in for the Challenge Cup, whatever, that you can have young lads on the bench. There's no reason they couldn't have been a part of it. And Dicko and Kel and Mac getting on the ice afterwards, getting their hand on the trophy, and being able to skate that up to a crowd that you sat in a year, 2-3 years ago. Mac grew up in the room, and so it was really, really lovely to see those guys getting that. They'll be part of the property, part of the celebrations, and they get that trophy around in front of an adoring crowd. And I've seen other things on about just how Mac and Kel have been conducting themselves off the ice around the arena. Mac going and speaking to the people that sponsored his jersey, and just little things, pressing palms, saying thank you, doing things the right way, and little things they got stick with people, and it gets you to support them even more. Two absolutely, I don't want to be condescending to call them boys because they're men. Two absolutely young gentlemen, and very, very polite and all in the interactions up in the box on Wednesday night. So wish them nothing but good luck. I think did I say there at the start, 15 points in 19 games for Solway for Kel. So he's doing really good things. Apart from getting ice time, he's contributing as well. And when you've got people like Spud Grubb and Jamie Thompson saying really, really good things about it, you have to listen to that. They're people that know what they're talking about.
Says, you have anything else for any other business?
Yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who bid on the jerseys for the Challenge Cup auction for the champions jerseys. Thanks very much. We had 680 bids, 182 of them coming in the last 7 minutes.
Oh wow!
So
snipers.
Unfortunately, we're not. We're the way that the auctions works is it's not like eBay. Unfortunately, where everything's done for you and all the algorithms are kicked into place and it's all accepted. We had to manually accept every single bid, so that's what took us a little bit of a time to make sure that all the bids that were valid up until 5 p.m. were accepted. But massive thanks to everybody who bid, and congratulations to everybody who won on the bids as well. So definitely well-rounded piece of history, which is going to go down the lines. In Ben Lake's shirt is definitely the one I would have gone to get my hands on if I could afford it. But yeah, definitely brilliant for sure.
I was talking to Sis the other day, obviously as someone who still has a reasonable hockey shirt collection who started many years ago. Don't really collect as much anymore as what it did. I blame Todd Kelman on this for bringing in the subliminated jerseys, but I understand from a business point of view just how lucrative this can be for the organization, and that helps us put better players on the ice. So I'm okay with that. But like in terms of something with collectability, yeah, we talked about you'd want the game-winning goal shirt, or you'd want Soizy's shirt, or who scored the second goal. Or Goody, the captain's shirt, scores a goal in the final. Best goal coming up with, all these guys have got their own people that follow them and want to buy their shirts, and that's great, And as far as it goes, brilliant for the organization, and congratulations to the OSC on running another great auction. And I suppose can't go past and have 7,200 people in the barn without giving the props. Sis talks about it all the time about volunteers and how that all comes together. But James Glover put on I suppose Gloves would be the sort of operations guy on the day, and he's got his team around him at Barzo and all those people that help out. But cap tip, you can give one there senior, the only one cap on, but Glover for putting on an absolutely fantastic event in the SSE and proving again that Belfast does it best.
What I love about that is that you get to look around after a championship win and see the number of people where they individually mean so much to them. I remember going over on the ice and giving like Austin Benson a really big hug and saying to him that he deserves it, and being able to kind of slap boys in the back like Robbie, and obviously all the arena operations team. There's so many people, Michael Barr, Ross, that you just that go unsung all season long. It's really lovely that everyone gets a little tiny bit of ownership in their own way of something like that, and just a wee moment to appreciate what they've achieved. And Taff obviously his ovation.
There was somebody had last weekend's game. Somebody had wrapped Robbie's car in cling film.
Saw the photo actually. Yeah,
that car park.
You got
no idea who it was. It was just come out and it was like that. Just bizarre.
That's so strange. Yeah,
there's obviously a bit of ownership being taken there, but we'll
not at all. It's nothing to do with me. It's absolutely nothing to do with me.
It says, are you able, just as a closing, I know where we're going to try and keep it under the hour and we're 57:45. Are you able to tell the story that started when you, me and Taff were out to lunch?
What one?
The Besco. Or is that for a different time?
No, well, we can. So Besco is a wee bit of a tradition that he likes. He likes a cake. He likes a bun before the games, and I've been buying. I bought him a wee Portuguese tart probably a month or so ago, and every home game now he gets his Portuguese tart. Well, I go to Edge Coffee on the game day. I buy the
bun. May we add a bun?
Yes, bun. It's not a cake, but it's a bun. And I went to Edge Coffee to buy the bun. And they didn't have any left.
Oh man,
this is on game. This is Cup final day, and I'm sitting go, God, we need to get one. And I was that close to driving to Port Stewart, where I'm very so there was a bit with William and Park come in from Edge, who owns Edge Coffee, and he had the idea to go next door. There's another place next door that sell them. They're not as good, but so Steph, which is Scott Conway's girlfriend, she went in and bought one for us, brought it back in, which I really appreciate, but they just weren't right.
I had it.
Davey, as soon as Davey bit into it, I knew they weren't right. So
it's not enough getting them, they have to be right.
I put a tweet out on Twitter, funny enough, and a lovely girl called Selena McLean came back to us instantly, immediately. She came back to us and said, well, I just basically, said, is there any bit up in Port Stewart, Coleraine, Port Rush area? Could they do me a favour before the game? And she said, yeah, I live in just outside Coleraine. What do you need done? So I got in contact with her. She went to the bake shop in Port Stewart, sorry. Got them, brought them to the game at 6 o'clock. Besco had his bun, and he's a Challenge Cup champion.
These are the stories. That is my favorite story from the entire Cup final day. That is fantastic.
Thank you very much, Selena. I really do appreciate your efforts and time and everything into it. And we looked up. We made sure she got a wee memento from the locker room to make sure that she'll not forget that in a hurry. You want to talk about the attention to detail from the staff around the Belfast Giants to make sure these players have everything they need for success. There's a Portuguese tart driven from the North Coast, so the Besco is ready to roll. Boys, we are just over the hour. Anybody else get anything else for any other business? Says you have enough. I'm done.
All done, mate.
No problem. Listen, as we say, every game is a playoff game. If you can, get down to the barn this weekend, cheer on your Belfast Giants against the Nottingham Panthers. If you can't, hit up belfastgiants.tv, and Simon Kitchen will be there to call all of the action. So I think Patrick Smith says, wherever you are this weekend, we hope you enjoy your hockey, and we will catch you here next time on A View from the Bridge.